So warm greetings to you, old friends and new. Some of you have been coming to this annual event for decades, and many of you are here for the first time. And because we're having this gathering in a new and exciting place, it feels to me like a rebirth for Bioneers. And it's pretty obvious that we're living through a dramatically transformative and turbulent time. An old world and its systems are crashing, revealing the corruption, the complicity and cruelty that it's long been built upon. Violence and authoritarianism are on the rise all over the place. Incredibly disruptive and manipulative technologies threaten to commercialize and upend every aspect of our work and our social lives. And of course, we're facing the mother of all crises, the climate catastrophe. Sometimes it's hard to see anything positive amidst all the chaos. But if we know where to look, and we turn our attention and energies to the world that's being born, there is ample reason for hope. Dynamic social movements, visionaries, artists, entrepreneurs, innovators, and doers of all kinds are developing new and reclaiming ancient frameworks, storylines, and ways of living and being. Our intention in inviting you here is to celebrate, connect, and co-create a collective vision and an embodied sense of what's possible to help us each navigate effectively towards it. We're standing at the threshold of a pivotal passage in the human experiment. To move from breakdown to breakthrough, the coming years will be decisive. And the good news is that there are abundant opportunities for co-creativity and reimagining in every single field of human endeavor. And we have the most awesome superpower on our side, the greatest teacher there is, Mother Life, or nature. She has 3.8 billion years of adaptive evolution under her belt, and she shows us that thriving life is possible for all of our kin on Earth without poisoning the planet and shredding our ecosystems. And as a very young species, we must humble ourselves enough to emulate, respect, learn from, and work with her. This, of course, is what biomimicry urges us to do, as does green chemistry and permaculture, instead of perpetuating the matricidal and ultimately suicidal effects and efforts to suppress, ravage, and control her. Many years ago, when Kenny was first awakening to the coming confluence of existential crises that humanity was facing, with the increasing destruction of so many of the natural systems that all life depends upon, he began to learn about brilliant practitioners far ahead of their time in a wide variety of fields. In domains ranging from biology to renewable energy to land management and environmental justice, and spanning the fields of psychology, regenerative farming, medicine, social equity, healing, politics, economics, and education, these people were designing and implementing real solutions to many of the most pressing challenges that we face. But they didn't know about each other's work. The world definitely didn't know enough about them, and their work certainly wasn't getting the support that it merited. Kenny came to call them Bioneers, biological pioneers who looked to nature as mentor and partner, not as a resource. Together, we decided we would create a space where cross-pollination and communication of the most promising solutions could lead to a wider dissemination of these fertile seeds and spores into the larger world. And living in northern New Mexico, a heartland of ancient First Peoples on Turtle Island, He recognized immediately that traditional native cultures were the original Bioneers. The ecological wisdom to be found in many of the world's indigenous traditions offers the most sophisticated understanding of humanity's truest relationship to the tapestry of life. They remind us that we're just one part of the symphony and not the heroic, macho, know-it-all conductor, right? Traditional cultures also offer us some of the wisest counsel on how to be a good human being, on how to live in right relationship. So that's been foundational to our worldview and mission from the start. Another core theme that informs everything we do is our deep commitment to diversity as key to resilience. In the natural world, the most biodiverse ecosystems have the greatest array of options to adapt to and survive challenges, threats, and constant change. The same, of course, is true of human societies. Nurturing diversity in all its forms is not a way to be virtuous. It's a prerequisite for our survival. And it's not only a diversity of ethnicities, faiths, abilities, genders, identities, classes, cultures, generations, and professions we need to draw upon, but also a really wide array of ideas and perspectives, a whole spectrum of genius and skills. We're going to need everyone's uniqueness and particular talents to improve our chances of succeeding and thriving. This, of course, includes restoring women and girls and the receptive or feminine archetype, female archetype, which exists in every one of us, to a place of balance within ourselves, our systems, and throughout the world. To me, there's tremendous promise in the increasing connecting and coalition building I'm starting to see among diverse women and girls with youth, elders, and non-binary people of all colors, backgrounds, and classes. Since all of us have experienced being marginalized, othered, or undervalued, and so many have experienced hardship, violence, or abuse, we've strengthened, honed, and refined a willingness to stand firm on behalf of life and say, enough, basta, or as they yell in the movie Network, we're mad as hell and we're not gonna take it anymore. And we have insisted from the get-go that environmental and social justice issues are all one notion, indivisible, inseparable, and interdependent. Over the years, Bioneers has grown into a community of leadership in a time that the earth asks us all to be leaders. Leaders who can wholeheartedly bring our love, our skills, and our devotion to reinventing, reclaiming, or protecting some aspect of our world. Leaders who lift each other up, who listen deeply and share power, who practice deep relational intelligence, reciprocity, and respect in co-creative community for the good of the whole. And as you've been hearing, moving here to the East Bay this year, there's such a rich landscape of extraordinarily inspired and effective local people, institutions, enterprises, and organizations, many of whom we've been fortunate to partner with. Their support and collaboration have been invaluable. We've never been welcomed to a place like this before, and many of these allies are co-producing and presenting in sessions over the coming days, where their brilliance will be on full display. Bioneers has become a sort of ever-evolving network of networks, where engaged people come to compare notes, to connect, and to nourish and renew our hearts, minds, and visions. It's a big tent, and those within it don't always agree with each other about everything, but it's got a life of its own, and we've been privileged to help midwife and steward its evolution, and to have been along for quite an amazing ride. We invite you all to join us and each other on that magic carpet. But I must also name another core value that's been central to my own personal learning journey. That is the need to rebalance the inner and outer dimensions of the human experience, and to reclaim and value all of our ways of knowing, to listen for the wisdom of the heart, the body, and the spirit or intuition, as well as the brain. These last years, I've been deepening these dimensions inside myself, and also in my own personal relationship with the sacred land that holds us and supports us, and the unseen world, and with Kenny, my beloved partner. Because without also altering our internal stories, habits, and beliefs, and working to unearth and heal the deep traumas and implicit biases that our psyches and bones have absorbed through time, our attempts at external systems and behavioral change might fail. A daily sitting practice offers me an inner stillness, a calm lake bathed in moonlight that I turn my attention to often these days. Mother Life is holding me accountable for improving how well I live by the lessons that I've been teaching. I'm practicing listening inwardly before saying yes, and remembering that the feminine inside me thrives in spaciousness. Ancient cultures treasured their storytellers, their poets, singers, and artists more than anyone, for good reason. To find our way to a saner world, we need far more compelling stories, ones that celebrate the interdependence and sacredness of the entire web of life, and that remind us how to invest in, value, and respect relationships far more than things. Our beloved board member, John A. Powell, would call it a world that moves from othering to belonging. This is the lifelong quest to weave our world anew, to rewrite the plot of the horror story we've been sold, to begin to repair its harms as best we're able, and to reimagine it as the most inspiring love story ever told. May we learn to collaborate in lieu of competing, to let go of being right in service to being curious, to practice humility, kindness, and mutual mentoring, and to be accountable for the ongoing self-cultivation that can strip away conditioning that keeps us small and complicit. May we feel the updraft of winds under our wings, the mycelial networks holding us from beneath the earth, and may our roots entwine to hold us stable through the coming storms. May the tears for our losses wash us clean and fresh, and may the glowing embers of our devotion sustain our passions. May our guides and our ancestors aid us to help heal our relations with ourselves, each other, and the earth. It's all alive. It's all connected. It's all intelligent. It's all relatives. Thank you.